There is an undeniable global increase in temperatures. Accompanying those increases are the impacts of those warming trends being felt around the world. In fact, recent years have been the warmest on record, evidence of worldwide manifestations of climate change. In TNT, we aren't immune to global shifts towards hotter climates. Temperature records show since the 1960s, Trinidad's average temperature has inched up by about 0.8 degrees Celsius and Tobago's by 0.5 degrees. Rainfall patterns have changed too. Overall, there's been a decreasing trend in rainfall in TNT. At the same time, pounding showers that trigger flash floods happen more often. Scientific climate model projections are showing global temperatures and their serious impacts are only going to get worse, posing major threats to countries around the globe. This is an international challenge. More intense storms, severe flooding, intense heat waves. These are just some of the markers of man-made climate change caused by burning fossil fuels that produce greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. In recognition of this grave threat, representatives from almost every country on Earth gathered in Paris in 2015 to forge an international treaty to do something about climate change. The result? The Paris Agreement. It's something you've probably heard about before, but what is it exactly? How does it commit participating nations to do their part? Adopted by nearly 200 countries, the Paris Agreement unites the world's nations in a single agreement on tackling global warming, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and keeping global temperature increases to 2 degrees Celsius and ideally 1.5 degrees Celsius. The Paris Agreement requires all signatory countries to commit to reducing emissions from the most economically advanced country to the least developed states. These commitments for bringing down greenhouse gas output are called Nationally Determined Contributions, or NDCs. They are designed to increase in ambition every 5 years. Each signatory to the Paris Agreement has an NDC and must account for its achievement or non-achievement through an open, transparent review process. The Paris Agreement also requires countries to prepare for the transition to a low-carbon economy, what's also called decarbonization of the economy, report on losses and damage caused by climate change impacts, develop long-term low-carbon plans, and report on measures to adapt to the impacts of climate change. Developing nations must also report on financing to confront climate change. In making the crucial transition to low-carbon economies, signatory countries must recognize human rights such as the right to health, the rights of indigenous communities, local communities, migrants, the vulnerable in society, as well as those with disabilities. Also, a key component of this shift is the preservation of the right to development, intergenerational equity, and the empowerment of women. One of the most important factors in nations adopting decarbonization policies meant to usher in a reduced reliance on the burning of fossil fuels that increase greenhouse gas levels in the atmosphere is called the just transition of the workforce, the creation of sustainable quality jobs to ensure no one is left behind as nations move towards their low-carbon economy objectives. Trinidad and Tobago signed on to the Paris Climate Agreement in 2016, ratified it in 2018, and is therefore committed to addressing all the requirements of the Paris Agreement. In fact, Trinidad and Tobago played an important leadership role in developing the agreement by co-chairing negotiations between 2013 and 2014 with Germany. Like all other participating countries, our job is to ensure we live up to our commitments to reduce greenhouse gas output by 2030. Trinidad and Tobago has already developed an NDC implementation framework and a financial investment plan. So we know how to achieve our targets and have a strategy to get there. Additionally, TNT is also developing its own just transition of the workforce policy as part of its commitments under the Paris Agreement in the global effort to move towards decarbonization of economies. To limit global warming to under 2 degrees Celsius, we must keep on moving away from fossil fuels and towards renewable energies. While Trinidad and Tobago contributes less than 1% of global greenhouse gas emissions, it is committed to contributing to the global climate solution by reducing our emissions. Implementation of the Paris Agreement is our best chance of keeping increases of global temperatures within safe limits. Trinidad and Tobago is pitching in to be part of the solution.